It's another Pop-In Podcast Highlight, and this week we feature a podcast where tech, culture, and business collide. Please welcome podcast host and executive and business coach, Michelle Smith of the Culture Soup Podcast. Good morning.
Hi, Alana.
Girl, you do it all. I cannot wait
here.
to hear more about your podcast.
Awesome.
Now it is, what is the Culture Soup Podcast? Because it really seems like it covers everything.
Well, absolutely. It is a business podcast, first of all.
Okay.
Primarily centered on entrepreneurship, but we take a lot of cues from the internet and we talk a lot about culture and tech. So it's a little bit different, and that's why we call it soup.
I was going to ask, where did the soup come from? Or maybe you were eating some soup whenever you came up with the idea.
Well, sort of.
Kind of.
I'm a professional speaker, which is how we met, right? And
right.
One of my keynote speeches talks about how social media is culture soup, and it's based in research that many of the common hashtags, trending, emoji usages, all of it came from underrepresented groups. So that's where the culture comes in.
It's funny, you look at social media, you you see the hashtag, you see what's kind of trending, but you don't think about where it all came from.
Right.
So that's very, very
And we
enlightening.
saw that with the Renegade on TikTok.
Oh
where
my
there's
God.
a 14-year-old.
Can you renegade?
I'm learning. My
Okay.
TCU students are going to teach me.
Renegade, yeah. Okay, we will learn together. Yeah, something like that. But it's a thing, but there's so much more to it.
Right.
Why is it significant again?
It's very significant, meaning the name of the podcast. Mm-hmm. Okay, absolutely. It's very significant because culture is driving everything that we see on the internet. And we tee up each conversation with a culture soup moment.
There's so much opportunity for so much content. So how do you pick each episode and what you're going to focus on that?
Okay, well,
episode?
The tag is Michelle Smith and Friends. So it's based on my value proposition, which is that I thrive at the intersection of tech, culture, and business. And my friends actually sit at the intersection of tech, culture, and business. So each one comes on and we tell a little bit about how we met, which is a little bit about my story, but when we tell their story, we get deeper into the tech and the business and the culture.
Now share some of the guest lists that you've had on your show. I understand Rev Run was on your show just recently.
Absolutely. Rev Run and Justine Simmons were on for Valentine's Day. It was a special bonus episode for their new book, Old School Love. And of course, he sits at the intersection of culture with hip hop and even as a minister, faith is culture, but also relationships and family. And he likes to tweet words of wisdom. So it was great to have him on. I've known them for about 5 years. But I have people that aren't so well known, but people may know them locally, like my minister of music from church, Minister Gay Arbuckle, who was able to sing for both presidents when we had the funeral here for the police officers.
So you have friends in high places and local places too, which is just as important.
Right.
But of course, you do have your podcast, very active on social media, but you also have an episode that airs on LinkedIn Live, the full video production called The Coaching Corner.
Yes.
What can we expect from those episodes?
So because I'm an executive and business coach, I felt it was important to have an episode that spoke to the pain points of professionals, whether you're in corporate America in a workplace or you're a small business owner, which is a story of my life. I've done both. So we look at things that people want to talk about, how to be authentic at work when maybe you are different, right? As a person of color, how do you do that? We talk about resilience. We talk about executive presence, both online and off. And I come on like it's a television show, and I pitch to a guest. There you go, right? And I pitch to a guest, and we do the deep dive, and we have a soup moment like we do on the audio podcast.
Oh, that's incredible. That's why she's so comfortable here on GMT, of course. So you guys ready for this? I'm going to list off your resume here. You are a founder and executive and business coach, as you mentioned, a keynote speaker and author, an adjunct professor, TCU.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs. Okay, all of these things, you seem to get a lot of joy from being a creator in the B2B space.
Right.
Okay, what is that and why is it so important?
Okay, first of all, B2B is business to business. And while we see a lot of influencers out there that are consumer facing, you know, like Tiffany Hendra, who we met, who was from the Real Housewives, I'm more in the corporate space, more in the business space. So to have a voice that is of color, that is female, is rare, especially if you make it to the top 10 on Apple Podcasts, which we've done a few times.
Yeah. Congratulations on that. And that's what this entire series is about, is just highlighting that. If you didn't know about some amazing podcasters, we hear they're more than just podcasters. How can we hear your show?
Well, you can go anywhere fine podcasts are heard. Prefer Apple Podcasts, Google Play,
Okay.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, wherever.
She's there. Y'all, she's there. Here's your next episode idea: how to be a keynote speaker.
Oh, I love
I've
it.
been asked many times to be, and this is for selfish reasons, been asked, and I don't feel very confident in that. So just a little idea.
We
So
call it Rock the Platform.
there you go. We'll talk later. You can listen
Yes.
to the Culture Soup podcast on everything we just mentioned. If you can get a podcast, I can guarantee she's going to be there. The website is theculturesoup.com.